I'm Kimberly Jinks, and I am Cornerstone. I work at the Des Moines Register in the evenings part-time when I'm not at home with my kids. I sit next to all kinds of different people any given night. And recently I've been working with a young lady who's a lot like myself, who has a couple of kids and is married. One day she came in and she asked me, "Why are you always so happy?" And I told her it's because of Jesus. He's my life. He is who I am. He's a part of me, and I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for him. And every day I come in and she asks me more and more questions, and I'll just share with her, whatever's going on in my life at the time, or sometimes she'll share with me something she's struggling with, and sometimes God will just give me a reminder of a word that pastor would have said on Sunday. Well, one night as I was coming into work, we had been carpooling together, and when we got to work, something happened to the system and it was shut down, so we got sent home early, which never usually happens. And on the way home, she was just sharing with me some things that have been going on, and I asked her to just tell me about it. And she said that I wouldn't understand. There was just too long of a story. And I said, well, let me share with you my testimony. And I told her just briefly what God's done in my life, just something that I felt like would be relevant to her. And I looked at the clock, and I was just a few minutes from the house, so I knew I only had a few minutes to share with her my testimony. So I just tried to jam as much in as I could right then and share what I felt was relevant to her situation. And we pulled up into my driveway, and I asked her, "Have you ever made Jesus Lord of your life?" And she said, well, when I was like 11 or 12, I think I said a prayer. And I said, "But did you make Jesus Lord of your life?" And she said, I don't think I know what that means. And I said, well, it's just waking up every day and saying, "God, I'm going to live for you today. I'm going to live my life for you." And she said, "Oh, I don't think I've ever done that. I don't even think I'd know where to begin." And I said, well, if you'd like, I could say a prayer and you could just repeat it after me. And she said, "I'd like that very much." And so I took her hands and I just began the prayer of asking Jesus into her heart and making him Lord of her life. And when we said amen, she said, thank you so much." And I told her, this wasn't about me, and it wasn't about anything I did. God totally set us up today. He set you up. He knew what was going to happen. The whole reason for us getting off work early and us riding together, all of it was God's plan. He used me in spite of myself. And I came in, my husband had kept the boys inside, which usually run out to the car, and I told him, I said, why weren't they running out to the car? He said, I just felt like I was supposed to keep them inside. And I said, I led somebody to Jesus today. And it was so exciting. I'm Kimberly Jinks, and that is a true story.